You have an incredible amount of power. Why should we trust you? You shouldn't. Since launching ChatGPT, OpenAI has become one of the most influential and valuable tech companies in the world. But the story of what's going on behind the scenes is crazy. From trying to overthrow their CEO to completely abandoning their original principles. This video is the insane history of OpenAI. But it's also a journey through the past, present, and future of artificial intelligence. And this is a story that affects us all. Sam Altman studied computer science at Stanford, but he dropped out to work on his own business. It was called Looped, and it was a way of sharing your location with friends using your phone. However, since Sam started Looped before the iPhone and the App Store even existed, this proved to be a challenge. But Sam worked tirelessly on his business, mostly living off instant noodles and ice cream. In fact, he worked so hard and his diet was so poor that he actually developed scurvy. Then in 2005, he joined the first ever Y Combinator class, which is basically a boot camp for startups. And it was here that Sam attracted the attention of Y Combinator's founder, Paul Graham. Paul had a lot of business experience and became a mentor to Sam, as the two got on extremely well. However, Paul also observed something curious about Sam. He said, "Sam is extremely good at becoming powerful. You could parachute him into an island full of cannibals and come back in 5 years, and he'd the king." Interestingly, before long, Sam ended up becoming president of Y Combinator. This meant, at just 30 years old, Sam Altman was now leading the most prestigious startup accelerator, which allowed him to build relationships with many of Silicon Valley's most influential entrepreneurs. Sam became extremely well connected, and his reputation in the tech world grew massively. Sam soon began doing more public speeches, and one of his favorite topics to discuss was artificial intelligence. In 2015, Elon Musk was terrified. He was concerned about the lack of safety precautions around AI, which he felt posed an existential threat to humanity. I don't think most people understand how quickly machine intelligence is advancing. I tried to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile. I tried for years. Back in 2015, the world of artificial intelligence looked very different. There was one giant player dominating the field, Google. Their subsidiary, DeepMind, was making incredible strides, and it seemed like no one could catch up. Google's co-founder Larry Page was deeply invested in building a true artificial general intelligence, or AGI. But not everyone was comfortable with Google holding all the keys to such a powerful technology. One of the most prominent voices of concern was Elon Musk. He and Larry Page were friends, but they had fundamentally different views on AI safety. Musk was worried that in the race to build AGI, crucial safety measures were being overlooked. He feared a future where an unchecked superintelligence could pose a risk to humanity. This concern wasn't just talk, it pushed him to take action. So Musk decided to build a challenger. He teamed up with some of the brightest minds in the tech world. Sam Altman, a well-known investor and then president of Y Combinator, Greg Brockman, the former CTO of Stripe, and a brilliant AI researcher from Google itself, Ilya Sutskever. Together, they laid the groundwork for a new kind of AI lab. They called it OpenAI. The name was very intentional. The open was a direct response to the closed, proprietary approach of companies like Google. OpenAI was founded as a non-profit organization with a noble mission: to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. They pledged to be transparent, to share their research, and to build AI for the common good, not for corporate profit. Their goal was to create a powerful counterbalance to Google's dominance and to prioritize safety above all else. This founding team, often called the AI Avengers, was united by a shared belief that something as transformative as AGI shouldn't be controlled by a single company. They secured a staggering $1 billion in funding commitments to kickstart their non-profit dream. The plan was to openly collaborate with researchers worldwide, making their discoveries and code public. This was the original promise of OpenAI, a transparent, safety-focused, non-profit guardian for the future of artificial intelligence. But as we now know, the path they started on in 2015 would soon take some unexpected and dramatic turns. The idealistic mission of this non-profit was about to collide with the harsh realities of building the most complex technology ever conceived. Can you believe one of the most powerful tech companies today started out in an apartment? That's right. OpenAI's first office was literally Greg Brockman's two-bedroom apartment. Back then, they had $1 billion in funding, but believe it or not, no real plan. Employees from that time have even said they were just doing random stuff. Imagine having that kind of money and freedom. This massive funding, of course, attracted some of the brightest minds in the world. But what were they working on? It was a mix of everything. They built a bot that could beat professional players in the video game Dota 2. Then, they tried creating a real-life robot butler. It was a period of wild experimentation, a classic case of throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. While big names like Sam Altman and Elon Musk were often busy with their other major companies, the real day-to-day leadership fell to Ilya Sutskever and Greg Brockman. They were the ones on the ground, guiding this team of geniuses. Their ultimate goal wasn't just to build cool robots or win video games. They had a much bigger, almost sci-fi vision. Artificial General Intelligence, or AGI. AGI isn't just as smart as Siri. It's an AI that could surpass human intelligence in every way. The team at OpenAI saw AGI as a double-edged sword. On one hand, they believed it could be like a benevolent god, capable of solving all of humanity's biggest problems, from disease to climate change. They imagined a future where AGI could unlock secrets of the universe we can't even comprehend. But on the other hand, they were acutely aware of the immense danger. An intelligence far beyond our own could pose an existential threat to humanity. What if it decided we were the problem? This godlike creation could just as easily become our destroyer. It's this high-stakes gamble, this pursuit of a potential god or a potential demon, that defined the chaotic, ambitious, and frankly, terrifying early days of OpenAI. It's a story of incredible ambition, and it's far from over. Imagine you're building a massive highway. It's a fantastic project, a marvel of engineering. But did you ever stop to ask the ants whose hill you just paved over? Probably not. To you, it's progress. To them, it's the end of their world. This is the exact analogy some people use when they talk about superintelligence. We might be those ants one day. It's a scary thought, right? Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, lives with this duality every single day. On one hand, he believes AI could cure all diseases and solve humanity's biggest problems. On the other hand, he's acutely aware it could also lead to our extinction. It's like holding a key that could unlock either a treasure chest or a doomsday vault. Back when OpenAI was just starting out, a lot of people were skeptical. I mean, they were making bots that could play video games. It seemed cool, but world-changing? Not so much. Yet the team inside OpenAI, and even powerful figures like Vladimir Putin, saw something more. They understood the exponential potential. Putin famously said that whoever leads in AI will rule the world. He wasn't talking about video games. For decades, AI research went through a period known as the AI winter, where progress was slow and funding was scarce. It felt like a dead end. But then, around 2015, something changed. The winter thawed. An AI system beat a world champion Go player, a game far more complex than chess. This was a massive wake-up call. Suddenly, the world realized that AI wasn't just a novelty anymore. But even that incredible achievement had its limits. The Go-playing AI was a one-trick pony. It could master Go, but it couldn't drive a car, write a poem, or even tell you what Go is. It was brilliant but narrow. This highlighted a huge challenge. How do you get from a system that's a genius at one thing to a system that can learn and understand anything? This question pushed researchers to think differently, moving away from specialized systems and towards what we now call Artificial General Intelligence, or AGI. That's the real game changer, the one that could either build us a utopian future or pave right over us like we're just ants on the highway. Remember that hilarious hot dog or not hot dog app from the show Silicon Valley? That's a perfect example of what we call narrow AI. It was trained on tons of labeled data, pictures specifically marked as either hot dog or not hot dog. For a long time, this was how AI learned. You had to feed it perfectly organized, labeled information. It was effective, but incredibly slow and limited. To get an AI to understand the whole world, you'd need to label, well, everything, an impossible task. But then, in 2017, everything changed. A group of brilliant engineers at Google published a groundbreaking paper with a deceptively simple title, "Attention is all you need." This paper introduced a new architecture called the transformer. Think of it as a complete revolution in how AI thinks. Instead of needing labeled data, transformers could learn from the vast, messy, unlabeled information all over the internet. Books, articles, websites, you name it. They learned context and relationships between words and concepts on their own. Now, you might think Google would have immediately unleashed this technology on the world, but they were cautious. As a massive company, the reputational and business risks of releasing a powerful, unpredictable AI were huge. They decided to play it safe, keeping their advanced models mostly in-house for research. But someone else saw the true, world-changing potential. Over at a smaller, more nimble research lab called OpenAI, a chief scientist named Ilya Sutskever recognized that the transformer was the key. While Google hesitated, OpenAI went all in. They took the transformer architecture and ran with it, creating something you've definitely heard of, GPT, which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. By pre-training their model on a colossal amount of internet text, they created an AI that wasn't just good at one thing, but could generalize its knowledge to do almost anything you could ask in plain English. This was the breakthrough that led directly to the AI boom we're seeing today. It wasn't just about building a better hot dog or not detector. It was about building a mind that could understand and generate human language, leading to the incredible tools we now use every day. Have you ever wondered why the AI boom is happening now and not, say, in the 1980s? Well, back then, brilliant minds had the theories, but they were missing two crucial ingredients: massive computing power and the internet. Think about it. The internet is the largest, most diverse library of human knowledge ever created. It's got text, images, code, conversations, everything an AI needs to learn about our world. So, along comes a company called OpenAI. Their initial goal was to build artificial general intelligence for the benefit of all humanity. They started by scraping a massive amount of data from the internet, basically reading everything they could find. This data became the fuel for their new model, GPT-2, and it was a game changer. GPT-2 was so good at generating human-like text that it shocked even its creators. Here's where things get interesting. OpenAI, despite its name, decided not to release the full GPT-2 model to the public. They said it was too dangerous and could be used to spread misinformation. This decision created a huge amount of buzz and controversy. Was it really about safety, or was it a clever marketing move? Either way, the hype was massive, and it signaled a major shift in their strategy, moving away from being completely open. Around the same time in 2018, there was another big shakeup. Elon Musk, one of OpenAI's original co-founders, resigned from the board. The official reason was a potential conflict of interest with his work on AI at Tesla. But behind the scenes, there was more to the story. Apparently, Musk was concerned about the company falling behind Google and wanted to take over leadership himself. When his proposal was rejected by the other founders, he decided to walk away. This departure marked a pivotal moment, pushing OpenAI further down the path from a non-profit research lab to the competitive, closed-off tech giant we know today. Imagine building a rocket to the moon, but halfway through, your biggest investor walks away. That's exactly what happened to OpenAI. When Elon Musk left, he took his deep pockets with him, leaving the ambitious AI lab with a huge financial hole. Their dream of building artificial general intelligence for everyone was suddenly at risk. How could they afford the massive computing power needed without compromising their mission? This crisis led to a controversial pivot. OpenAI's leaders, including Sam Altman, made a tough call. They decided to create a new kind of company, a capped profit entity. This meant they could take on big investments, but the financial returns for investors would be limited. The original non-profit mission would still be the ultimate goal, but now they had a way to fund it. This new structure immediately caught the eye of a tech giant, Microsoft. They saw the potential and invested a staggering $1 billion. This deal was a lifeline. It gave OpenAI access to Microsoft's Azure supercomputing platform, the digital horsepower they desperately needed to train their increasingly complex AI models. However, this move didn't sit well with everyone. Critics cried foul, arguing that partnering with a massive corporation and chasing profit, even if capped, was a betrayal of their founding promise to democratize AI and keep it out of the hands of a powerful few. With Sam Altman as CEO, OpenAI started operating more like a secretive tech startup than an open research lab. The transparency that once defined them began to fade. In November 2022, OpenAI unleashed ChatGPT to the public for free. It was a strategic masterstroke. Almost overnight, millions of people were interacting with a sophisticated AI, writing poems, coding, and asking it every question imaginable. The internet exploded. ChatGPT became a global phenomenon, and that single moment officially kicked off the AI revolution we're all living in today. On November 30th, 2022, a simple tweet from OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman, quietly introduced something called ChatGPT to the world. There were no flashy marketing campaigns, no grand announcements. In fact, internal expectations were so low that the team didn't even prepare for a major launch. They figured, at best, it might get a little buzz in the tech community. Boy, were they wrong. What happened next was something no one could have predicted. ChatGPT exploded. It wasn't just tech enthusiasts who were interested, it was everyone. Students, writers, programmers, artists, your aunt who still asks how to use her phone. They were all talking about it. The secret sauce? Its incredibly natural conversational ability. It felt less like using a tool and more like talking to a very knowledgeable, albeit sometimes quirky, friend. Within just 2 months, ChatGPT skyrocketed to 100 million active users, a growth rate that shattered records previously held by giants like TikTok and Instagram. It was officially the fastest-growing consumer application in history. This viral success was a double-edged sword. While the world was marveling at its new AI companion, tensions were brewing inside OpenAI. The safety teams were on high alert. They were deeply concerned about the potential for misuse, from generating convincing misinformation to helping with malicious code. And then there were the hallucinations, where the AI would confidently state complete falsehoods as facts. The public's enthusiastic response only amplified these fears. Was this thing too good, too convincing? The internal debate intensified. Were they moving too fast? But the market had spoken, and the sound it made was ka-ching. The unprecedented public adoption caught the attention of the biggest players in tech. Microsoft, which had already invested in OpenAI, saw the tidal wave coming and decided to ride it. They doubled down with a staggering $10 billion investment. This move wasn't just a vote of confidence, it was a declaration of war. Suddenly, an AI arms race was in full swing. Google, Meta, and countless other companies scrambled to release their own AI models, terrified of being left behind in this new technological gold rush. The massive Microsoft deal cemented ChatGPT's place in the mainstream, but it also deepened the philosophical rift within OpenAI. The company was founded with a mission to ensure that artificial general intelligence benefits all of humanity. But now, there was a growing divide. One side, championed by the product-focused leaders, was eager to capitalize on the momentum, roll out new features, and secure their lead in the market. On the other side, the safety and research-oriented faction argued for caution, warning that commercial pressures were overshadowing the original mission of safe and ethical AI development. This internal conflict, the classic Silicon Valley battle between moving fast and being careful, was now playing out on the world's biggest stage, shaping the future of artificial intelligence for all of us. It's a tale of ambition, conflict, and a shocking betrayal. It all started with a fundamental clash of visions. On one side, you had Ilya Sutskever, a brilliant co-founder, and OpenAI's chief scientist, who became increasingly concerned about the dangers of superintelligent AI. He championed safety above all else, believing they were creating something that could pose a real threat to humanity if not handled with extreme care. On the other side, the company was on a rocket ship of success. With ChatGPT becoming a global phenomenon, the pressure to innovate and commercialize was immense. Some employees felt that the original mission of building safe AI for the benefit of all was being overshadowed by the race for profits and market dominance. This tension wasn't just theoretical, it had real-world consequences. A group of key researchers, worried about the company's direction, left to form a rival company, Anthropic, with a heavy focus on AI safety. Despite the internal friction, OpenAI kept pushing forward, releasing groundbreaking models like the image generator DALL-E and the incredible text-to-video model Sora. Sam Altman, the charismatic CEO, was the face of this explosive growth. His vision was expanding, and he was sealing massive deals, including a multi-billion-dollar partnership with Microsoft. OpenAI was on top of the world. And then, the bombshell. On Friday, November 17, 2023, the unthinkable happened. Sam Altman was abruptly fired. The news came out of nowhere, sending shockwaves through the tech industry. How did it happen? Reportedly, it was a swift, brutal move. Ilya Sutskever, his co-founder, invited Sam to a video call. On that call, with the rest of the board present, Ilya delivered the news, "You're fired." Greg Brockman, the company's president, was also removed from the board and quit in protest. The official statement from the board was cryptic. They said Sam had not been consistently candid in his communications, which had hindered their ability to exercise their responsibilities. This vague explanation only fueled more speculation. What was the real reason? Was it a power struggle? A disagreement over safety? A corporate coup orchestrated from within? The tech world was left stunned, grappling with the sudden downfall of one of its brightest stars. The king had been dethroned, and the OpenAI saga had just begun. So what really went down at OpenAI? One minute, Sam Altman is the face of the AI revolution. The next, he's out. The official reason, the board said he wasn't consistently candid in his communications. That's corporate speak for, "We don't trust you." Sources say things got messy. There were accusations of Altman playing board members against each other, creating a chaotic environment where no one knew who was on what side. A major flashpoint was his public clash with board member Helen Toner. She co-authored a research paper that seemed to criticize OpenAI's safety practices. Altman reportedly tried to get her removed from the board, but failed. This power struggle only deepened the divide. Then there are his side hustles. While leading OpenAI, Altman was also fundraising billions for a new AI chip company to compete with NVIDIA. And let's not forget WorldCoin, his ambitious crypto project that scans people's eyeballs. The board saw these as major distractions, conflicts of interest that pulled his focus away from OpenAI's core mission of safely developing artificial general intelligence. They worried he was building a personal empire, not a responsible research lab. But the real mystery, the question that blew up the internet is, what did Ilya see? Ilya Sutskever, OpenAI's chief scientist and a board member, was seen as the company's moral compass. He was initially a key player in the decision to fire Altman. Then, just days later, he dramatically flipped, expressing deep regret for his part in the ouster. What could have been so alarming that it made him vote to fire his friend and CEO? And what changed his mind so quickly? The theories range from a terrifying AI breakthrough to a simple human power struggle. We still don't have the full story. The final act of this corporate drama was the employee rebellion. It started on Saturday, right after the firing. Greg Brockman, OpenAI's president and co-founder, resigned in solidarity with Altman. This single act lit a fuse. Over the weekend, a tidal wave of support for Altman swelled from within the company. An overwhelming majority of OpenAI's employees, we're talking over 95%, signed a letter threatening to quit and join Altman at Microsoft unless the board resigned. It was an unprecedented revolt that showed just how much loyalty Altman commanded. The board had made their move, but they completely underestimated the power of the people who actually build the technology. Imagine getting fired on a Friday, and by Monday, your entire company is threatening to quit unless you're brought back. That's exactly what happened to Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI. The tech world was completely stunned when the board suddenly announced they had fired him. But what happened next was even crazier. Almost all 800 employees at OpenAI, from top researchers to junior engineers, signed a letter. Their message was crystal clear: bring Sam back or we're all leaving. This wasn't just about loyalty to their leader. For many, their financial future was on the line. OpenAI was about to let employees sell some of their valuable shares, a deal that could have vanished without Sam at the helm. Then Microsoft, a huge investor in OpenAI, made a jaw-dropping move. Their CEO, Satya Nadella, publicly offered to hire Sam, his partner Greg Brockman, and anyone else from OpenAI who wanted to join them. This basically gave the employees a golden parachute and put immense pressure on the OpenAI board. The board was now facing the very real possibility of having a company with no employees. The final blow came from within. Ilya Sutskever, a co-founder and the company's chief scientist, who was actually part of the board that fired Sam, had a change of heart. He posted on social media that he deeply regretted his decision and then signed the employee letter demanding Sam's return. At that moment, the board knew they had lost. With their authority completely gone and the company on the brink of collapse, they had no choice but to negotiate. Just a few days after he was kicked out, Sam Altman made a triumphant return as CEO. The board members who had tried to oust him were replaced, and the company got back to work. But not before showing the world the incredible power of a unified team. In a plot twist worthy of a Hollywood blockbuster, just 5 days after being fired, Sam Altman and Greg Brockman made their triumphant return to OpenAI. The drama ended, and Sam emerged not just back in his role, but more powerful than ever. The new board was handpicked by him, giving him unprecedented control. And what about Ilya Sutskever, the chief scientist who helped orchestrate the coup? He eventually departed the company, marking the end of a very strange chapter in Silicon Valley history. With the internal power struggles settled, OpenAI turned its focus back to the future, and what a future it is. They recently unveiled a new, jaw-droppingly realistic voice mode for ChatGPT. It's so human-like, it can laugh, it can flirt, it can understand your tone and respond in kind. The parallels to the movie Her, where a man falls in love with his AI assistant, were immediate and obvious. Sam Altman himself even seemed to lean into the comparison, tweeting just one word on the day of the demo: her. But this is where the story takes another dramatic turn. One of the new AI voices, named Sky, sounded uncannily like the actress from that very film, Scarlett Johansson. The thing is, OpenAI had approached Johansson to be the voice, and she had refused. Yet, they released a voice that was eerily similar anyway. Johansson was shocked and angered, and her lawyers got involved, forcing OpenAI to pull the Sky voice. She released a statement expressing her disbelief that a company dedicated to the future of humanity would create a voice so eerily similar to hers without permission, especially after she had explicitly said no. It was a move that many saw as a deliberate provocation, fueled by Sam's own cryptic tweet. This controversy raises serious questions about ethics, consent, and the very fine line between inspiration and imitation in the age of AI. Remember back in 2022 when AI art was just starting to get good, we all kind of laughed it off. We thought, sure, AI will take over the boring, repetitive jobs, but it will never touch the creative fields. Artists, writers, musicians, we were safe, right? The human touch, the spark of creativity, that couldn't be replicated. Well, we were wrong. So wrong. Fast forward to today, and what's happening? AI isn't just generating decent art, it's creating breathtaking masterpieces. It's writing code, composing music, and even generating entire video clips from a simple text prompt. The very industries we thought were immune are now being completely reshaped. And it's not just the creative world. Look at search engines. For decades, Google was untouchable, the undisputed king. Now AI-powered search is emerging, threatening to completely upend a multi-trillion-dollar industry. It's a classic case of disruption, happening at a speed we've never seen before. This isn't a slow burn anymore, it's an explosion. Every single industry, from medicine to manufacturing, from finance to farming, is on the verge of a massive AI-driven transformation. The question is no longer if. AI will impact your job, but how? Will it be a powerful tool that makes you 100 times more productive? Or will it make your role obsolete? This is the reality we're all facing. The pace of change is accelerating, and the future is arriving faster than any of us can truly comprehend. Now, you might be watching this, listening to my voice and thinking, is this whole video made by AI? It's a fair question, The line between what's real and what's generated is getting blurrier every single day. But for now, at least for this video, it was all me. A real human. The script, the voice, the editing, all human-made. But how long until you can't tell the difference at all? Looking ahead, the next 5 years are going to be wild. We're talking about AI creating fully immersive, photorealistic, virtual realities you can step into, just by describing them. Imagine building entire worlds with just your words. And the money pouring in. It's staggering. Rumor has it that OpenAI is raising a new round of funding in 2025 that could value the company at an insane $300 billion. That's more than the GDP of many countries. We are standing at the dawn of a new era. It's exciting, it's a little scary, and it's happening right now. The best thing we can do is stay curious, keep learning, and try to steer this incredible technology toward a future that benefits all of us. The world of AI is a battlefield, and the battle lines are being redrawn. It used to be a tale of two titans, Elon Musk and Sam Altman. Once allies, their relationship soured, turning them into fierce rivals. Musk, an early backer of OpenAI, now battles Altman's creation with his own AI venture, xAI. But while everyone was watching this Silicon Valley soap opera, a new challenger emerged from the east. In January 2025, the global AI landscape was shaken to its core. A company you've probably never heard of, DeepSeek from China, unleashed an AI model so advanced it made everything else look obsolete. The impact was immediate and brutal. US AI stocks plummeted, wiping out billions in value overnight. The market was in panic mode. Was this the AI world's Sputnik moment? OpenAI, reeling from the blow, quickly accused DeepSeek of intellectual property theft. They claimed the Chinese upstart had stolen their proprietary technology. The irony was thick enough to cut with a knife. For years, OpenAI itself had been criticized for scraping vast amounts of data from the open internet without permission to train its models. Artists, writers, and programmers had all cried foul, but now the shoe was on the other foot. The DeepSeek disruption didn't just expose hypocrisy, it supercharged the global AI race. The competition was no longer just between a few Bay Area giants. It was now a geopolitical showdown. Suddenly, national pride and economic dominance were on the line. In response to this new threat, OpenAI went on a fundraising spree, securing a massive new round of funding led by SoftBank. They were gearing up for a long, expensive war for AI supremacy. This isn't just a story about code and corporations. It's about power, ambition, and the future of humanity itself. The game has changed, the players are multiplying, and the stakes have never been higher. Who will come out on top? The established giants, or the disruptive newcomers? The answer will shape our world for decades to come. To keep up with this ever-evolving saga and get the stories that truly matter, make sure you subscribe to Prime Narrative. Thanks for watching.